Hi everybody, John Cini here, and welcome to another World Champion edition. We've had Scrabble, we've had Memory, now we're going to have Domino's World Champion. We're going to find out what makes an elite Domino's player tick, and also some tips about how to play and how to beat our friends at Christmas. But before we do that, we have a returning Funkster back. Joshua, tell us where you're dialing in from.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening. I am calling you from Maine in the U.S., For my friends all over the world who don't know where that was, I am about 6 hours north of New York City, 2 hours north of Boston on the east coast of the U.S.
Tell us what you do in 5 words or less.
Take up space. Porn addiction and trauma coach.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. We'll have that. Good. Thank you. And Travis, World Domino's Champion multiple times. Tell us where you're dialing in from.
Well, I am from Naperville, Illinois. For those who don't know where Naperville is, it's about 40 minutes southwest of Chicago.
Tell us in 5 words or less what you do.
I have an addiction for dominoes, and I play daily.
Every day?
Every day.
Before we get into the show, tell us briefly about being world champion. I mean, does it enable you to open supermarkets and go around kissing babies like politicians?
Well, not quite, but one of the things that being a world champion has done is I've been able to I've written a book, which is actually the only guide to strategic dominoes that we're aware of. And I've just been recently hired by Black Dog and Leventhal to write a whole brand new book about dominoes. There are about 82 games, and I'm going to write about probably anywhere from 75 to 80 of those games in this new book. And now I don't get a chance to kiss babies, but I do get a chance to. Actually, I do work with the elementary school kids, which is probably one of the more rewarding things that I do with dominoes. And it's all because they think that I know that I know what I'm talking about in this game because I'm a world champion. Yes.
We would play with our family, kind of what we call 5s and 3s.
We play with 7, and then they're just all type of. You can 5s and 3s. You can play with 9s, and it depends on what size of deck you're playing with. And they go anywhere from the double 6 set of dominoes all the way up to the double 18 set of dominoes.
Really?
Yes.
Now I've learned something straight away within 2 minutes. Double 18.
I've never played with double 18s. I don't want to see a double 18 set. I think all it would do is probably give me a headache. Then it's just impossible to keep up with all those dominoes after a while. Yes.
We had World Memory Champion on a couple of weeks ago. We memorised all them.
The rules of FunkQuest are simple. Each Funkster selects one of 4 icons. Behind each icon is a question which may or may not have anything to do with the icon. The Funkster then has 1 minute to tell a story, tell a joke, or maybe even answer the question.
We'll ask Josh to go first. If you're happy, Josh, can you pick the buttons? Punk rock girl, some apples, or a piggy bank?
Let's do the apples.
The apples. How well can you read a map?
Very well. I have been to 47 of the 50 states in the United States. I've been to around 20 countries in the world. My parents were elementary school teachers, so we had our summers off. And keep in mind, they started me traveling when I was around 8 years old, so we're talking about 1984. So there was no GPS, there was no smartphone, and we would travel 10 hours, 12 hours a day sometimes. And that meant that one of my parents was often sleeping to take their turn to drive. So I had to learn to read a map pretty darn young, and I'm still pretty good at it. And I kind of even get upset in the car when I try to tell my daughter or my son or my wife, well, we have to go this way and then this way, because I kind of have a map of the U.S. in my head, and I like to impress people with the fact I can get anywhere without needing a map now because I've used so many, and they are all like, yeah, let's just turn on the GPS. So I don't get a chance to impress them anymore by my
until it runs out of battery.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can look like a smart guy. But I pride myself on my cartography skills.
You don't need a map or a GPS to be seen as a smart guy. Good answer. Next question. Hopefully Travis has got the idea. So therefore, you can pick the buttons, the punk rock girl, or the piggy bank.
I want to pick the one that he just chosen. Which one was that?
The apples. If you've got a good story about maps, then let's hear it.
Okay, all right. Actually, I can read a map. I'm good at reading maps, of course. I grew up in the 50s, and when that's all we had. But with my kids, my son now, who is 40, when we used to travel across the country, Texas, we lived in Missouri at the time, Illinois, and just everywhere we would go, we called him the map boy because he was the one to do all the navigating for us. And I'm talking about maybe around 8 or 9 years old. And we always would end up, he would always give us directions to go through the cities. You know how you can bypass the cities and go and on the interstate? Well, he's an architect and he loves the tall buildings. So all the time when he was doing the navigating for us, we would always end up going through the downtown areas of these cities because he wanted to see the tall buildings. And we caught on what he was doing after a while. So we just let him get away with it. And, once we figure out what he was doing.
I think not many 8 or 9 year olds these days can read a map or even know what it is.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, they can't. No way they can.
Smartphone apps, excellent. Okay, so hopefully you got the idea. Joshua, you can pick a blue car, some general stationery, a one-hump camel, or a tuxedo.
That camel looks very out of its element, so I'm going to pick that one.
That one. What was your first computer?
Oh, this is great. It was the Apple II. My father, as I just mentioned, was an elementary school teacher. When his school system bought their first computer, he was very into the idea of the technology. He was probably in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. And so he got to bring this computer home over the summer months where he wasn't teaching. And we got to use it. And that's where at 5 or 6 years old, I fell in love with computers. And I've been a Mac guy ever since, talking to you right now on a MacBook Pro. I have, straight up, the Apple II, the Apple II Plus, the LC, the GS.
Was that one with like the floppy disk thing in the front?
Oh yeah, the big black floppy disks where you couldn't touch that thing right there because then you'd ruin it. And
it was almost like it was you press the button and you go, there's your disc out.
Yeah, and it made the most heinous noises when it was trying to get the information. And you're, oh my God, did I break the computer? Dad's gonna kill me. And no, that was just the disk drive. But yeah, that would have been my first computer, was the Apple II.
So that would have been about 1985, 6, something like that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 84, 85, I would guess.
We had one when I was a student, and there was one in the library. You had to put your name down on a list, and it was one of these things where you bought your own discs from the stationers. They cost about 100 quid for 2. And you put it in, and then it, like I said, it would just almost spit it out, and you had to catch it, like a baseball catcher's kind of to catch the disc. So first computer, anybody can beat the Apple II as their first computer. Get in touch. Travis, you can pick the blue car.
I'm going to go with the tuxedo.
Tuxedo, I said what we like. Straight in, bosh. Where do you visit on the internet the most?
Domino's site. I play Domino's every day. As a matter of fact, I told my doctor back in 1994 that I felt like I had to play Dominos to maintain my sanity. And I said, I need you to write me a prescription that's saying that I must play Dominos daily. And she did. She wrote me a prescription, took it home and gave it to my wife. My wife threw it in the trash can. Oh. And when we moved to Illinois, same thing. I told my doctor that in order to maintain my sanity, I have to play Dominos daily. And having a prescription just kind of helps, validates that. And she gave me I got another prescription from my doctor here. So every single day of the week, I visit a Domino's site to play Domino's.
Is it something like chess where you can kind of sign up and play against somebody of a reasonable standard, of a similar standard? Is it something like that?
Well, the site that we play on right now, they claim that you can't choose your opponent. but they have the algorithm set up so that you actually play against people of similar status. Yes, yeah. And over time, they based on your records, they can get an idea maybe about how good you are. So you get matched up with people who are the same level or near the same level that you're on. You don't get a chance to play the very inexperienced players.
Is it like a real time thing, or do you just play a turn and then just leave it for a day or two?
Where you actually have to make a play in 15 seconds, and a game is generally over with in about 3 minutes.
Really?
Yes.
It's a different world. Josh, did you know this is a completely different world to me?
You're a world champion. Are there people out there who match against you and can give you a real battle, or do you just wipe the slate with all of them?
No. I wish. As a matter of fact, all my friends are telling me that I've kind of lost some of it over the years. Of course, I still know that I can compete with the best of them. I am not the best domino player in the world. I'm sad to say, but the absolute best players in the world, I think the top 3 players in the world are all my proteges. So I have something to be very proud of.
Nice. You're not supposed to teach them everything you know.
No.
Well, what they say to me is that, well, he taught us what not to do. So now that's how we've got better than him because he's taught us what not to do.
I do have another question about that, but let's crack on. Joshua, you can pick, I don't know what you call that, a football? A clothes rail? A soccer ball. A clothes rail, a cartoon planet, or a swimmer?
I will go for the dead body in the pool.
Dead body in the pool. Okay. You've had this one before, I think, maybe. Where do you exercise?
I don't do a lot of exercise, unfortunately. Most of my exercise comes from doing other things. I've actually told my wife likes to walk around a track at a local high school, and I go insane just walking in circles. So what I actually have her do sometimes, if I'm on an exercise kick, I have her drive me somewhere in town and drop me off. And then if I want to get home, I have to walk home. Because if I just drive my car to a track and I go around one time, I'm like, this is stupid. I don't have to exercise. I don't have to do it. So I need to have some kind of reason behind it. Later this week, actually, Travis, I'm going to Chicago with my son for a short vacation. And I'm hoping that we walk 5-6 miles a day, because that's my kind of exercise, is when you're doing something else. I want to exercise when, in the garden. I want to exercise if I'm, with my dogs. I don't want to exercise just for the sake of exercise. I can do it anywhere. I just have to have a reason behind it, not exercise itself.
It sounds like something that you do for political prisoners, dropping them off somewhere, making them walk. I mean, that sounds like a bit North Korea-ish to me.
Well, I mean, the food's pretty good.
Next question, Travis, you can pick a soccer ball, a clothes rail, or a cartoon planet.
It's just a soccer ball.
Soccer ball. What old person things do you do?
I would say the old person thing that I do mostly is probably, according to my wife, memory. My wife thinks that I forget things. And if that's an old person thing, I'm not claiming that. That's what she says.
Yeah. And
also the other old person thing that I do, according to my wife, is that she said, you need to go to the doctor to get your hearing checked. Because she thinks that an old person that I don't hear very well. Well, I went to the doctor. Doctor said, Mr. Newsome, your hearing is perfect. So now I had to decide whether I want to tell my wife what the doctor said or not.
No. I have a question about when you're playing dominoes. Is it are you allowed to speak to your opponents, or is it got to keep?
We can do some trash talking in dominoes, and it does come in handy from time to time. So yes, you can talk to your opponent. Yeah,
mild-natured abuse.
Yes, absolutely. And when I'm playing somebody, I don't want them to be. I try to demoralize them. I don't want them losing and feeling good about it. I want them to feel bad. I want them to feel defeated. When the game is over, I'm the nicest person in the world, and I want to be your best friend. But during the competition, no. I'm not your friend, I'm your enemy. And I portray that in every possible way that I can.
There's a lot of posturing. It's like heavyweight boxing where you kind of walk in and you growl.
Yes. And like in the competition, especially when next month we go back to Alabama, and when I sit across the table in front of somebody, they'll say, "Oh, you've been here before." I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I have. I won this 3 times. My brother's won." And I kind of look at that kind of as an intimidation factor. And on top of that, I wear these white Playtex gloves that I use to kind of just intimidate people a little bit.
Good answer, thank you. Joshua, you can pick a water skier, a teapot, some coloured glass type of things, or a small boat.
I'll go with the boat this round.
Boat. What are you most grateful for?
8 years ago, when I finally pulled my head out of my butt after 37 years and took being healthy seriously, and healthy meaning physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, every way you can imagine. I was lucky enough that I was able to not work very much for 2 years and make dropping my addictions my priority. And I know most people, when they try to go into recovery, don't have that opportunity. And I'm so grateful that my family supported me, that I had the kind of money where I could do that, where I was really allowed to focus on myself for 2 years. Being a former journalist, that meant a ton of research. I talked to a lot of people. I tried every modality, from online forums to 12-step groups to therapy to rehab. I was really able to explore the idea of recovery. I don't think I would be as healthy and where I am today if I didn't have those 2 years to really be selfish when it came to fixing myself. So I think that's ultimately what I'm most grateful for, because it's led to everything since then.
It's a very funky answer. We do have quite a lot of messing about on the show, but a very funky answer. Thank you for that.
I just say out loud what I'm hearing in my head. That's when people ask me, because I've written 4 books, I was a journalist for a million years. When people ask me, how are you such a good writer? I don't think I'm a good writer. I just write down what the voices tell me. So that just may be the difference between someone who's a good writer and not, is that I just have a lot of voices in my head, and they are eloquent. So I write them down.
That's the secret to writing, folks. You heard it here. Just write down what the voices are telling you. Travis, 4, you can pick a water skier, a teapot, or some random coloured stained glass.
The one that I want to talk about, what I'm grateful for.
Well, it's the boat again. Okay, well, we're going to ask you about Dominos,
Yes.
whatever you say. So just go for the boat and we'll get that out of the way. What are you most grateful for?
Well, I'm most grateful for having grown up in Texas with two parents and 10 siblings, where we lived on a farm and we worked hard, got some fantastic work ethics from our parents, the foundation that they laid for us. And I think I have been able to carry that through with me through life, and pass it on to my kids. My kids have never been, 2 kids, and they've never been unemployed. They work hard and they're very responsible. But I think growing up in Texas on a farm, doing some very hard work, impacted me so much until I said, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm going to make some of myself and get out of here. But no, I'm so grateful for having those type of parents that instill in me good work, that ethics, and the thing of treating people right. So that's I'm grateful for having had that type of experience.
Mate, treating people right is kind of funky these days. We found that pretty early on. Is there a young person kind of Domino's community? Is it in universities, colleges? Could I go, if I was 19, could I go find a club and be amongst my own? Or is it like a older person thing?
Well, actually, what we tried to do, and when I lived in Kansas City, I taught Domino's in 6 different school districts, and they were for after-school programs. So we deal with 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. But no, there's no real place that you can go and just find young people to play Domino's. Oddly enough, the kid that I met in 2011, was 9 years old at the time. And he was the best kid domino player in the world. He won the Kids World Division twice. He won the Teen World Division twice. This year he's competing in the Adult Division. But there's just not a lot of kids that have been in the game, which is one of the things that I was most sad about, because the game is such a great way of, although we play online, but when I taught the dominoes in schools, I told them, you cannot play dominoes online. I want you to go home, go and get a set of dominoes, have your parents buy you a set, because I want you to sit down and play. There could actually be more time with their siblings and with their parents, have some great interactions.
If you are a student union or whatever your equivalent over there is, you want to set up a Domino's society, get in touch with us, or get in touch with Travis, and he will assist you in setting up a student society, Domino's society, at your university, college, or wherever you study. So how's about that, right?
That'd be great.
Joshua, question 5. You can pick a wedding, what we call bar football, some eggs, or a boxer.
Wedding.
Wedding. You'll be on millions of times. When have you been on TV or radio?
Well, you can go to my website and see a complete list. Many times being interviewed for the pornography stuff. Prior to that, when I was in my old professional life, aside from running a large magazine company in this part of the country, I was also a city councilor, and I created a film festival, and they were quite heavily covered by media. And then when I was actually in college, back when I was 18, 19, I had a radio show. So I did that a lot of times. So I've been on the media quite a lot.
You've been on the Daily Star recently, yeah?
I was for one of my TikTok videos that was a little bit controversial. And, I know when I talk to the TikTok audience, I know the younger demographic, they can handle some taboo stuff. They can handle some 4-letter words. And I've learned how to narrowcast to them. And I guess one of the people over at the Daily Star liked one of my videos, thought it would get them some clicks or some reads. And so they covered me recently.
How did they contact you? Did they send you an email or send you a message, or how did they contact you?
They sent me an email saying that they were going to do an article about that particular TikTok and asked my permission to post it. And I said, that's fine. And the writer of that article actually contacted me this morning and asked if I had anything interesting coming up, because I'd like to keep covering it. So I said, of course I do. So now I have to come up with some interesting stuff, because that was a total bluff.
I said, that was the domino move.
Absolutely. Now, it's kind of like, instead of, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll learn about it after the fact. I want to ask one question. Travis, you mentioned you have to pay, kind of like in a poker tournament, to get into a tournament. You've won these tournaments. What is the top prize? What do you take home?
Well, that's an interesting question. When I won the first time, it was like $4,000, and it cost $10 to get in. Now for the World Championship, the top prize is only $5,000, and it costs $100 to get in. But in 2006, there was a Professional Domino Association where we traveled across 12 cities in the U.S. And I had my own team, and at that time it cost like $300 to get into the tournament. And I had 8 players on my team. We flew to these 12 tournaments throughout the country, and I paid all the expenses. But I chose the best players in the country, and the first place prize for that tournament was $10,000. The second place was $7,500, and third place was $5,000. And my team won 9 out of 13 tournaments, and we won first, second, and third place 3 times. So that and we won a total of just over 200,000. It was a period of about 12 weeks that we won that much money. I split up with my team, but still, that was pretty lucrative.
Not too shabby then. But like everything else, that's what you work hard, that's what you practice for, that's what you learn, that's what you do everything for.
Right now, on the online site that we play right now, I have, it may not want me saying this, but I have some of my proteges on this site have won like more than $70,000 in a matter of 4 months.
Wow!
Really? I don't win that kind of money. Okay, not me, but no, I have some people that are actually doing pretty well there.
Cool. Never realised. Never even realised. Anyway, last question. Let's have a last question. You can pick the table football, some eggs, or a boxer.
But I'm going to do the eggs.
Good for you. There you go. What a surprise. What can you talk all day about?
Okay, well, let me just say this. Of course, you know I can talk all day and all night about Domino's.
Yeah.
But I can also talk all night and all day about my college experience. I went to school at the University of Oklahoma, where I got a full scholarship to go there. They tell me it was because they were interested. They didn't say this, but my teammates said, "Oh, you just got a full scholarship because coach was interested in your teammate who got a full scholarship also." I did. I took advantage of it, and I worked hard, and I made it worthy of the gamble that he took on me. And when I left Oklahoma 4 years later, I had a finance degree, and I held a school record in both of the events that I participated in at Oklahoma. So I can just go on and talk about the great experience I had there.
So in terms of like the maths and statistics behind Domino's, is there a lot of that? Is there a lot of probability kind of things? And how do you give us like a 1 minute guide to the strategy?
When people talk about the math and Domino's, of course, yes, this is probability and you have to count. But the biggest part of Domino's is really logic. You have to know every time your opponent makes a play, you have to ask yourself, why did he make that play? And when you can determine why that play was made, then of course, you know better what to do. So the logic part of Domino's is more important than anything else. It has to make sense with what you're doing.
If me and Josh signed up now on an online site and we played you, how long would it take us to get whacked out of the park in seconds? 10, 15, 20?
Well, you'll realize after just a few seconds that you really don't know what you're doing. If you
It usually doesn't even take me that long.
Yeah,
my proteges are quite a bit older, but here I've had some students here recently that I have had some real fun teaching. I've been teaching. Listen to this. My two older sisters and my niece wanted to go to Alabama next month to the World Championship. They asked me to teach them how to improve their game, and I've been working with them each Saturday morning for the past 4 months, playing Domino's, trying to get them to the next level. And so we're all going to go down to Alabama here on the 7th of July and have a lot of fun.
It's opened my eyes to a completely different world that I never knew existed. I don't know about you, Josh.
No, I had no idea. And I know I was just thinking this, like, you're world champion and teaching people and traveling all over the place. And, you may be like the Babe Ruth of Domino's, and you can just walk through the world, probably not being bothered, but there you are, like this, like probably cult figure celebrity in the Domino's world, and nobody knows, just because it's such an underground thing. So, I think we might be in the presence of greatness right now. And just because we don't know anything about this, we don't realize we are with a true Hall of Famer right now.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to see you guys copies of my current book that I have. And next year, when the book from Black Dog and Leventhal comes out, I will make sure you guys get copy of that also.
So yeah, brilliant. This is what FunkQuest is all about, finding different things about different people that we never knew existed. Joshua, tell us how we can find out more about you and buy all your stuff.
You can find me on the website paddictrecovery.com. The latest thing you'll find on there is my new book. I am reading this book about porn addiction for a friend, because none of us want to admit that out loud. It serves as kind of the first 2 or 3 sessions that I have with clients, in case people are don't have the money to do it, are too embarrassed to do it. You don't have to order the actual book. There's an ebook, so nobody has to know. But for the person who is wondering if they have an issue, or if they're pretty sure they do and what are the first steps they should take, that's a book for you, available on Amazon, but you can get it through my website, paddictrecovery.com.
Travis, how can we find out more about you, buy your book, listen to your teachings? How can we do that? Because I'm on.
Well, if you go to my website, which is travisnewsome.com, you can find out everything about me that you need to know. And every single thing on my website is 100% true. There are no exaggerations there. So And also, and you can, of course, buy the book on Amazon just by searching. But and for those who have people that wanted autographed copies, have to actually get that through my website. But that's how you can find out about me, all kind of stuff.
I'm going to pulverise my father-in-law next Christmas when he's playing, because he always likes to play dominoes. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much, and take care.